guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I will pop my Instagram up above, but my name is Lexie. Thank you for returning if you are a longtime follower. If not, I am a lifestyle and competition prep coach for Pro Physique, and in today's video, I am going to talk about 5 things that you must consider before starting a contest prep. That is, if you want to be successful. So I would really appreciate if you guys enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below, and most importantly, share this video if you find it useful. Chances are there will be somebody out there that finds it useful if you share it. I also think that this message is very, very important to spread. I have been in the competing world for 4+ years now as a coach, as an athlete, and I think that these are very, very important things to consider before you are endeavoring something to the extremity of a contest prep. So without further ado, I am going to list off my top 5 things that I think you should consider before starting a prep. All right, so the first thing that I truly believe you should consider before you are getting yourself into a contest prep for a bodybuilding show is the thing nobody ever likes to talk about: finances. I think it is very important to talk about finances when it comes to starting a contest prep. There is no doubt that competing is an expensive sport. Like most sports out there, you know, it comes with a price tag. Now, typically, I think where a lot of people sometimes, get into things and what they don't realize is they start prep and they're really not having to buy anything or purchase anything in excess that, compared to what they have already been buying, such as food / groceries, gym membership, supplements, coaching, right? However, where the costs really start to add up is at the end of a prep when you are purchasing, your MPC card if you are competing in the MPC, where you are purchasing your enrollment for a show and all the different classes you are doing, hair, makeup, tan, if you're traveling to a show, flights, hotel, right? So I've seen it time and time again, and it breaks my heart, when girls get deep into prep and then, come 4 or 5 weeks out when they're starting to pay for all of the actual show day expenses. And like I said, that's really where things add up. They realize, oh my gosh, I can't afford this, right? So I think it is very important to consider where you are at financially before starting a contest prep. And, it's absolutely doable as long as you know what to prepare for and as long as you budget accordingly. So fortunately, I have a whole video breaking down the costs of bikini prep or just prep in general. I'll put the thumbnail up above and I'll also link that video below. But that is the first thing that I think you should consider before starting a contest prep, that being finances. Now, the second thing that I think you should consider before starting a contest prep is time management and how much time you have per se, right? Now, I want to make it clear that it is very possible to be successful as a bodybuilder in a contest prep by working a full-time job. I do not want to put out the message that you have to quit your job or that your job is going to get in the way of a contest prep. There are many people out there that work a full-time job. Heck, there are many people out there that work a full-time job. They have multiple kids and they still manage to compete and they're successful at it, right? I always say when there is a will, there is a way. However, you have to have really good time management skills if you are looking to go into a contest prep, right? It's more than just going to the gym for an hour a day and that's it, right? You have not only going to the gym, but you have cardio, which can get pretty high at the end of prep. You have posing practice, you have meal prep, you have, all of these little things, little technical things that you have to kind of add onto your plate. And so essentially, all of your normal free time is allocated to prep things, right? So if you don't have great time management skills, or if you're not in a prep and you already feel like you don't have enough time to get what you have to get done in the day, consider if it is the right time to start a contest prep. I always tell my girls and my athletes that the stage is always going to be there, right? So if you are going through a busy season in life and you're, worried about starting prep and managing everything at one time, consider holding off your prepping goals, knowing the stage is always going to be there, and try your best to, fine tune your time management, but also prep during a time of life or a season of life where, you're not having too much on your plate to the point where your stress ends up just being through the roof when you're trying to get everything done. So that is number 2 of things to consider before starting a contest prep, would be time management and how much time you can feasibly allocate to prep. All right, so the third factor that I think is very important to consider before starting a contest prep, and I feel like this is something a lot of people don't take into account or think about, would be your metabolism and where your maintenance calories are at, right? So what I mean by that is, in order to get stage lean for a show, the biggest variable coaches have, like myself, in order to get a client stage lean is going to be pulling from their maintenance calories. So Putting things into perspective, if you are somebody that, let's say, has about 15 pounds to lose in order to get stage lean, yet your maintenance calories are really low, it is going to be quite near impossible to get stage lean if we don't have enough calories to pull from in a healthy-ish manner to get you stage lean, right? So I always say the more weight in total you have to drop, or the more body fat you have to drop to get stage lean, the higher your starting point macros should be, right? If you only have 5 pounds to drop before getting stage lean, well, your macros don't technically need to be as high as they would be if you had 15, 20 pounds to lose in a contest prep. So obviously the more weight you have to drop, the more body fat you have to drop, the higher your macros / calories should be. And I always say any good coach should be very upfront and honest with a client. If they are not in a spot metabolically to start a prep and be successful at it, a good coach should be very upfront with the client about that. And it just may require a little bit of time spent in a reverse diet before actually going into the prepping phase. I get people all the time that come to me and they're like, I want to prep, but they're barely eating, 1,500 calories. And, I tell them we have to do a little bit of reverse diet work first if you want to be successful at getting stage lean. So that is number 3 of things to consider if you are looking to start a contest prep. Now, number 4 is going to be considering your experience in the gym and lifting. Now, I think that sometimes there is this stigma that bodybuilding is this like fad diet, or competing, so to say, is like a fad diet. So, some people assume that, okay, I want to transform my body, I'm going to sign up for a bodybuilding show, right? And in my personal opinion, I don't ever see that ending super well, or you see those same people getting on stage and just not being very happy with their, their placing or their result, right? So in my personal opinion, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but I always say minimum, you should have at least minimum a year in the gym lifting, like with a good lifting routine structure. I'm not talking about just like a year of sometimes going to the gym and playing around and sometimes not. I think that, it is going to be person dependent. Some people put on muscle quicker than others. And also, some competitors come from an athletic background. Maybe they did sports growing up. So maybe they already have that athletic build and muscular foundation. But I think it's very important to already be an avid gym goer and to already be somebody who, has the gym as a part of their life before endeavoring a contest prep. I always say a contest prep and competing in a bodybuilding show is kind of taking your, love for the gym and your athletic career to the next level, right? It's not something you just start out with if you're, brand new to the gym. You have to kind of master the basic of falling in love with the gym first, getting, comfortable with going to the gym, every week, training with a structured training regimen. And then, if you want to end up taking it to the next level and taking your athletic career to the next level, then you can endeavor competing. But I always say competing is not just another fad diet. It's not just something you do because, I want to lose a lot of weight. I think that you should already be somebody who has a really structured routine in the gym, somebody who loves the gym. It's always been part of your life, before you consider taking it to the next level and challenging yourself with something like a bodybuilding competition. So that is tip number 4 when it comes to considering starting a contest prep. Okay, and last but not least, tip number 5 that I think you must consider, it's very important to consider before starting a contest prep, is how is your relationship with your body image, and food. I think these are 2 very important things to consider before starting a contest prep. Being a competitor myself and being a coach, I can attest to the fact that anytime, I have a prospective client coming to me and maybe they're struggling hardcore with their relationship with food, and if they want to prep, I always have the conversation with them of, hey, we need to get your food relationship in a better spot before we do something as extreme as a contest prep. Same concept with the body image, right? Hey, I get it. Realistically, I know a lot of females, I would say probably every female out there has an occasional bad body image day here and there. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I think that's pretty normal for the most part. But I'm talking about people that almost prep out of spite because they hate the way they look, right? I think what some people forget is that when you get stage lean for a competition, that level of leanness in that body is not going to be sustainable long term, right? So if you are prepping out of spite of hating the way you already look, you have to realize that getting stage lean is going to be very temporary, and you're going to have to get comfortable seeing your body putting back on weight after that, right? So same with, if you start a prep and your food relationship is not in a great spot, sometimes I'll find that prep almost puts a quote unquote band-aid to somebody's, underlying issues with food. But what happens is typically if a competitor starts a prep and their relationship with food is not in a good spot, maybe they prep and they have a successful prep, but the post-show ends up being even worse because they get all of those, those unideal relationship with food, kind of habits. They get those almost to the degree of even more severe after the contest prep is over and during the post-show reverse diet phase. So I think that's another really important consideration to take into account, and that would be, and round out my tip number 5 for things you must consider before starting a contest prep. How is your relationship with food, and how is your relationship with just your body, right? Like I said, it's normal to have an occasional bad body image day or two, but if your sole reason for wanting to start a contest prep and stepping on stage is just because you don't like the way you look now, you're going to be in for a rude awakening post-show, and you're probably going to struggle with your relationship with your body image even more. Same goes for your relationship with food. So fix those 2 things. Make sure that those 2 things are in an optimal spot before you endeavor something like a contest prep. And I would hope, if you do hire a coach would identify that as well. Not letting a client compete if their relationship with food isn't in a good spot and their body image isn't in a good spot either. So that rounds out my top 5 things you must consider before starting a contest prep. Again, that is if you want to be successful and you want to have a great, long-term experience in this sport. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the format of this video. I plan on doing kind of shorter videos like this in the future on specific topics. So I'd love to hear in the comments below what you guys would like me to chat about in the future. But I hope that wherever you guys are at in the world, you have a great rest of your day. Please do me a favor, like I said at the beginning, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and comment below, share this video. I will put all the information for my coaching application, the full video for how much a contest prep really costs as well. I will put that below in the description box. But I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.